I'm on team let the birth rate plummet to hell. I talk about that consistently, but I do know that some people do want to have children, but finances, that's a key that's stopping many people from having more kids right now or having any kids right now. So this woman posted in the True Off My Chest saying, I'm terminating a pregnancy I wanted. I'm devastated, but it's the right thing to do. Let's check out her post. I have one child already that's 6 and found out a few weeks ago that I'm pregnant. We were very excited until one day we looked at our finances and realized we cannot afford another child without heavily sacrificing the life we built for our first child and stretching our finances significantly thinner than the razor thin they already are. Our first child also deeply expressed a desire to remain an only child and having emotional needs of both parents that would inevitably be pushed aside if we have another baby. We love our first child so much and they are the center of our world, and I don't want them to have to sacrifice the life they want and are used to just so we can have another child we cannot afford anyway. We are barely scraping by as it is in this economy in Canada. So, as of right now, I'm sitting at home with a perfectly viable pregnancy, and later today, I will be taking the first pill that will make it non viable. I am mourning the brief future I thought I would have, and admiring my current child and looking forward to what the future holds with them. Edit to add because some of these comments are actually ridiculous. My child wanting to do more with their parents as a family of 3 is not the driving factor behind this decision. Finances are. We're barely scraping by paycheck to paycheck, and we aren't going to risk homelessness to bring in a child we cannot afford. Prior to this, my child has expressed multiple times that they don't want any siblings. We thought when I got pregnant that would be replaced by excitement, and briefly it seemed it was, but it became very clear very quickly that my child was just feigning excitement because we seemed excited. But when asked deeply, their opinion hadn't changed. They said it would be okay to have another sibling, but they didn't want one right now. My child does not know what a termination is. My child will not know that I terminated this pregnancy and that they will not be blamed or resented for telling us how they felt. The main driving force here is financial instability. So, like I said, there are many reasons why people are opting out of having more children and why the birth rate globally will continue to drop. Right now, here in America, we have a political climate that is wild, that is chipping away at women's reproductive rights, and there's all kind of political instability here. She might not face that in Canada, but money is a factor just about everywhere where the cost of living is really outweighing how much people are making as far as wages. So that has to be factored in because, like she said, why would she do that? Why would she bring a kid into the world and they aren't even barely making it right now? That would be dumb. The fact that she had to come through and edit it really probably tells us what's going on in these comments. So let's go ahead and check out some of these comments. Consistent Mouse says, this is really sad. I'm so sorry to hear that you're going through that. Sometimes life isn't fair. I hope things get better for you all. And the OP says, I'm very much mourning the life I thought I'd be having with 2 kids. But when I look at my first child and their joy, I think about how they said they just wanted to be them, mom and dad. I know I'm making the right decision. Thank you. And Miss Giggle says, has your child expressed their position of wanting to be an only child organically in the past, or did they express that position specifically in reference to this pregnancy? It seems like a lot to be putting on a 6-year-old either way, and including them in very adult decisions seems like a lot. If you cannot afford a second baby, that's enough of a reason not to have one. No need to place any responsibility on a 6-year-old's point of view when they don't even understand the long-term effects and consequences of their current thoughts and feelings. If they ask for a brother or sister next year, how would that impact your view of this decision? Hopefully you and your partner remain on the same page going forward regarding this decision and your family can plan accordingly so you don't have to terminate a pregnancy you were excited about. I feel for you. I know this cannot be easy. And then the next person, Kamastrana, says, came here to say this, and you said it beautifully. My first thought was, is that kid going to one day think they unalive their unborn sibling? And then here's the OP saying, they have expressed it repeatedly in the past as well. When I found out that I was pregnant, they were very clearly feigning excitement because we were excited before deeply going over our finances. And when we asked more deeply and genuinely, our child expressed that they want to do more as a family together and are not ready for a sibling. That they would be okay with having a sibling, but ultimately would rather it just be the three of us, which we considered and took in along with several other factors unrelated to whether he wants a sibling or not to decide what to do. Okay, so there you have it. There's the OP. So Tila-san says, while I very much disagree with what your child says, it's up to you about providing what you believe is best. I loved having a sister and brother despite losing the attention I used to get. That seems kind of weird. Like, why are you disagreeing? How people live is based on them. The fact that this person, Tila-san, is bringing how they felt about their sister and brother into a family dynamic that's not about them is very weird to me. Lizard in the Sun says at 6, your child doesn't know the lifelong blessings that having a sibling can offer. Lots of people sacrifice at this time of life for this reason. You will forget the comforts, but will never forget the child you didn't have. The fact that so many people are disregarding that money is a factor, I cannot stand this line of thinking that people have. This woman literally said, it's all about the money right now. And she said, we will risk homelessness if we have a child. Why do they want to like put people, you know what? It's easy to say this type of stuff. It's easy to type this type of stuff, to live in a fantasy land when you're on Reddit, when you're on social media. So why am I saying, what are people thinking? They are not thinking. They don't actually factor in the fact that it takes more than love. Love is wonderful. You're supposed to love and support your kids, but you still need resources to take care of kids. And people live in fantasy land. So I see why the woman went up there and made the edit, because people are putting so much on the 6-year-old when she said the finances are the biggest factor. So this person, San Fran said, or S Fran says, wow, I know it's not an easy decision, but letting a 6-year-old drive your decision to terminate a wanted pregnancy, that's so many levels of, see, that kind of thing is, it's ignoring the main issue, which is money. Decrying Shame says, I agree. Children don't understand all the nuances of a decision like this. At some point in their life, they're going to want a sibling, and they are likely going to think it's their fault they don't have one. This absolutely should be a decision the adults make. And then the OP says, it's not. Thought this post made it pretty clear that the driving force behind this was finances, but not wanting to completely upend my child's life is a factor, and I'm not going to pretend that it's not. I want the quality of life they've held for over 6 years to remain, and that can't happen if we bring in another child we cannot afford. Like, people really want folks to be on the brink of homelessness and not being able to afford life. And I need people to stop this. This is why so many people are struggling, because they have more kids than their finances allow. Because yes, it does cost money to have kids. Even if everything is perfect, the children are wanted and everything. That is there are literally finite resources. If you look at your budget, if you look at your cost of living, and you say, I cannot do this. This is going to hamper a lot of people's ability to have more children or to have any children. And this is one of the factors that if governments really want to increase the birth rates, they're going to have to look at this type of thing. All right, y'all. That is it. I wanted y'all to see that, because not everybody is like me, and not everybody is living in the political climate that I'm currently in, that really says, let these people, let the birth rate plummet to hell. So I say that, but not everybody is living in that situation. And some people do actually want to have kids. Let me know what you think about this. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.